development encroaching to their very boundaries and destroying important wildlife areas.
Vandalism, dumping trash.
Air pollution, power plant sources, and auto emissions.
We have helicopter overflights.
Drilling or pumping of groundwater.
There are so many elected and appointed officials that just seem to have no feeling for something like this at all.
Since 1919, the National Parks and Conservation Association has fought to preserve, to protect, and to expand our natural, cultural, and historic treasures. NPCA's efforts are possible because of the grassroots participation of their extraordinary members.
I'm a laboratory geneticist, but of course I have a tremendous reverence for life. That is part of my profession too, and the constant wonder of it. I think in terms of the needs for doing something for parks, it's becoming painfully obvious that there aren't enough of them, and that the ones that we have are not protected enough around the periphery, that there are all these outside encroachments on them.
All of our parks are experiencing problems with adjacent development. All of the things that we as a society do and that we go to parks to escape are exactly what the adjacent development brings in. When I started this position with NPCA, I found that the places that I naturally gravitated toward were those places that there were citizen groups on the ground, because those were the places where I found that I could be effective. When people care about their park, that is an enthusiasm that translates to the kind of action that results in genuine protection.
Genuine protection. Sometimes NPCA is the Park Service's greatest critic, but it can also be one of the agency's strongest advocates.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed.
In Atlanta, the Sweet Auburn community was home and birthplace to Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Congress established Sweet Auburn as a National Historic Site and Preservation District in 1980, but no funds were allocated for its restoration and development.
I think those things being represented here in this community had a very good chance of being lost. Significant in terms of Martin Luther King because he grew up in this community and he saw many examples of the beloved community which he espoused numerous times in his works.
NPCA helped the Park Service win the legislative battle for $10 million to preserve Dr. King's historic community.
NPCA came to us at a time when we were having some problems seeking the funds to finally complete the development here at the National Historic Site. But NPCA offered assistance to us in terms of being an advocate for the park and for the completion of its development, and worked hand in hand and as sort of a middleman between ourselves and the committees in Congress.
At the edge of a growing Albuquerque, New Mexico, is a remarkable collection of Native American art. Not preserved on canvas, but etched into stone, these ancient images lie within Petroglyph National Monument. As the city encroaches on the very boundaries of the park, a major highway threatens to cut this sacred ground in two.
The thing I'm worried about is all these petroglyphs here on this site will be either destroyed or removed, or even trash will come down here. This area, has been used by our Pueblo people for many centuries, I think. and it's a sacred area. And we can't understand why you want to come and destroy it by making a road through here. Our petroglyphs are there. Once they're there, they should stay there. Because we are only 5,900 people in all 5 pueblos, and Albuquerque is nearing 500,000 people, we don't have much voice. When groups of non-Indians come and help us, there's where the numbers are.
Well, the Friends at the Albuquerque Petroglyphs is a local grassroots organization, and we network with local, state, and national groups to try to focus attention on this particular issue. And NPCA is one of those groups, and NPCA has been very helpful and very supportive. They've given us access, for instance, to Washington, which is a whole political arena that we're not very familiar with. And so we all work together like links in a chain.
I think one of the most important things about Petroglyph National Monument is its representation of our commitment to work with broad spectrums of groups, to acknowledge the cultural diversity of our country and work cooperatively with all groups in our country to pursue a common heritage and protect our common heritage.
It's critical for the future of the parks that the Park Service, that the state of Alaska know that American citizens are concerned about the parks. We work with the state, but the parks in Alaska are not owned by simply 500,000 people in the state of Alaska. They are owned by several 100 million people in the United States. They are large units, and they are units in which people, in fact, even whole communities, are often located in the ecosystem. A lot of what NPCA does in Alaska is to work between the Park Service, the state of Alaska, Alaska Native interests. We are not the government. We don't manage the parks, but we have the ability to move between the different interests to try to solve some problems.
NPCA members are also working to create a new international park where the North Cascades borders British Columbia.
This is a huge ecosystem that transcends beyond our international border. And what we're trying to do, what NPCA is trying to do, is work on a grassroots level to initiate some type of protection of the North Cascades ecosystem by linking these lands both in the United States, but also more so with Canada in an international park and special management area.
Parks are not postcards. They are not places we can draw a line around as you put a frame around a picture. They're living systems, and air, water, wildlife move in and out. And so we can't protect a park unless we are a good steward of the larger system of which that park is a part. And now the future of the system really does continue to turn on the continued vision and vigilance of citizens today. And as a regional director for NPCA, I can testify firsthand that we couldn't even hold the line, much less make progress in protecting parks without the help of citizens. But in most cases, the real monuments to the success of citizen efforts to protect parks, though, are invisible. They are the lack of a coal strip mine next to Bryce Canyon National Park. They are the fact that gravel mining has not proceeded in Grand Teton National Park. They are no oil and gas wells next to Hogan Reap National Monument. Hopefully there will be no gold mine next to Yellowstone National Park. So it's kind of funny when people say, well, show us the results of this wonderful citizen activism that NPCA has helped to organize and has joined forces with. And what I have to point to is a beautiful vista unintruded by modern developments.